Hey guys, this is Andy with Get You Wellies. Welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful evening out here in the garden. Season's just getting really started now, and we're going to talk about mulch tonight. So join me as we do that. But first of all, as always, why don't you get your wellies, meet me in the garden. So guys, when springtime rolls around and we start to add soil to our flower beds, to our raised beds, pots, whatever it is you're using, we often will recycle soil. I use that. I'll take it out of my pots and just amend it and put it in to add some more depth to my raised beds. Sometimes I'll buy some soil to put some freshness in that way. This raised bed soil is one of my favorites. I know I've shown you this before, but when I'm adding new soil, that's the one I like to use in these raised beds. Works well in pots too. Now, here in this raised bed, I have added some soil from pots that I used last year. These pots were full of roots from previous tomato plants and things like that. So these beds really are kind of cool because you can really adjust what you put in them. So as you can see, this soil still looks pretty decent, but I have added some 10-10-10 fertilizer to that, and I'll be planting probably more tomatoes in here. Planted some tomatoes I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'll probably do either peppers or tomatoes in here, and I want that soil to be really good for these plants. Now when I add amendments to my bed, it's usually going to be a combination of either some organic matter, so that could be like cow manure, or it could be some fertilizer like the 10-10-10, or it could be a combination of several things. I like to add some phosphorus and blood meal, so that would be bone meal and blood meal when I put tomatoes in, and I've made some videos about that before, but I recommend adding a compost or your fertilizer or some kind of organic matter. The choice is really up to you, and you kind of can experiment a little bit. These are the sweet potatoes I put in, and I like to put a little extra blood meal in with those too. Now we're actually going to talk mostly about mulch today, and as you can see in this bed, I'm using straw. I like straw for sweet potatoes because it's nice and loose, and if you have any tubers that start sort of developing right at the surface of the soil and you've got a nice layer of straw on there, they'll actually grow in that just fine. So straw is I used to use it a lot more. Now I really just use it for sweet potatoes. Now, one of the disadvantages, let me see if I can find some here. One of the disadvantages about using straw is that it does tend to give you a lot of grass. So right here, I think we can see that I've got the evening sun on my camera lens here, but this is just grass growing up out of that hay. It's easy to pull up, that's a good thing, but as you can see, it kind of comes up everywhere. Not a big deal for me. If I just have to pull a few grass blades out of here every now and again, that's not a deal breaker for me for using straw. Okay guys, so I moved down here to my latest tomato bed. Most of you are familiar with me growing in buckets or tubs, and that's worked really well. But this year I wanted to try raised beds just to see how they do. So I've got several different varieties here. This Beta Lux probably won't get too massive at all. The rest of these are indeterminate varieties, so they're likely to get pretty big. They've got these cages around them. It may end up needing to be a bit more than just a cage. I may have to put something here where I can string these up better. Anyway, but as you can see, the bottom of this bed, I got all these planted, put my amendments in, and then I put wood shavings on here. Now, these shavings, a couple things about them. This is Aspen. Aspen shavings are commonly sold in places like the big box stores. Some of those places charge quite a bit more than others, but if you go for the really big box store, Walmart, especially, the cost is pretty low. It comes in a compacted bag, so when you open it up, these things go a long way. Now, a couple things. Well, number one is I actually really like the look of these Aspen shavings. They're real light. Like I said, pretty inexpensive. During the winter time, they do break down. And the positive about these versus, and I don't know that pine is necessarily incredibly acidic. People talk about pine being really acidic all the time. But pine needles actually are really not that acidic. Pine sap, wood that's real healthy pine, probably is a lot more acidic. But this stuff is neutral, which is another reason I like it. So I think that it makes the beds look really pretty. They're light, things kind of stand out, and I'm looking forward to having all of my beds done this way. I'm still in the process of putting plants in, and I know I'm a little bit late here in Arkansas. Some of my friends are ahead of me on that, but that's okay, because we've been dealing with a lot of rain. Tomato plants grow crazy fast. I am not worried about the fact they might be a week or so behind. These have already grown a lot in just the few days that they have been out here, so I'm fine with that. They look good, they look healthy. So you can use lots of things for mulch. My preference after using this last year and seeing how it breaks down pretty well in the winter time is definitely Aspen shavings. Other things, you could use the straw. Like I said, I like the straw. I think it looks good too, but it does cause grass to grow in your bed. Not hard to pull it out, but that's the downer of that. You can use other things, wood chips. Some people even use like the colored wood chips from the big box store. And here's some more of the wood shavings. These went in probably a little bit before the other tomatoes, maybe a week before. These are all Amish paste, and these, as you can see here, I'm ready to kind of string those up here shortly. I'll tie those off and put them up. These buckets are needing some amendment, and they will be probably for peppers. I took out the rain gutter system that was in the actual rain gutters here, mostly for this reason. This is what happens to this plastic. It becomes very brittle, so the top of this bucket just came right off. I really, we're on year 4 of those, so I mean, I can't really complain, but I decided not to redo all that I would just work on the raised beds and putting these tubs under here. I think that looks fine. The other issue is, if you can see on the ground, my footprints down there, this has been a mud pit with all this rain. Today it's soft, but it's a little easier to walk on today, but it's only just now not sloppy. I've been working on a few other things. These squash and zucchini are coming up, so I'm going to put some of those white radishes in there to hopefully ward off the squash bugs. Cucumbers are coming along quite nicely, and I just unfortunately only have 3 of the elephant garlics, but I did get the scapes off there the other day, and so we'll be able to eat those in a stir fry. I just froze them for now, and then I'm going to put some of those radishes in here too, and once they pop up I'll go ahead and put the wood shavings down here as well. Now over on this side, Kajari melons, same thing, white icicle radishes will go here. I'm going to let 4 of these plants have at this trellis. This one's been in a bit longer and is obviously doing better, but all the others have come up, so that's good. And then I'm not sure what I'll put on this side. Maybe some just flowers, maybe some zinnias or something. Well guys, thanks for joining me. Take a look in your garden, and before things start to get too big, go ahead and put some mulch out, and you know, if you get the chance, try some of the Aspen and tell me what you think about that. I think it looks great, but you let me know what you use for mulch if it's not that, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. So until then, bye now.